Hello everybody and welcome to the Comb Racing League. We are here today with Tier 4 Round 6 at Silverstone, where we have got a sprint race. So the format is a one-shot qualifying, a 25% race which decides the order for the feature race, which is of course the usual 50%, but also awards the top 5 drivers 15 points. So a longer format than usual for Tier 4. Going to be about an hour 45 in total between all the sessions. But yeah, I'll just do a quick run through of the current standings within Tier 4. Can't say I know them particularly well myself. Usually commentate alongside Hedgehog at Tier 2. We'll have a look at the standings. So here we go. Here's our driver standings. Currently, Cami leading the championship. Mar in second, just 3 points behind him. Ignore it says +8. I think they haven't been updated from the week before. So yeah, very close among the top two. Farrell not too far behind, sitting on 84, 15 points shy of the lead. Bailey Forson, now this is much closer than it is in Tier 2. None of the drivers with a huge lead. In Tier 2 we've got 4 drivers flying away from the rest of the field. Here certainly seems to be anybody's game, and of course one driver can walk away with 46 points if they win the sprint race, the feature race, and get that fastest lap. So even more to play for today. In fact, given that technically, who could get all the way to the front? The top 12 theoretically could leave this leading the championship, although obviously guys near the end not going to stand much of a chance. We'll have a look at the last round results. So Bailiff winning that one, Cami in second, Craigo getting that third position. A lot of British drivers here. I'll see how it goes. Still waiting on a couple more drivers to enter the lobby. How do we do? I'm just trying to work out. I'm new to Tier 4, so I've got to work out who the fast guys are, who to keep an eye on. Engine Jesus getting the fastest lap at the last race. Of course, one-shot qualifying throws up the order a bit. Now, some of those people, I know they normally run short quali in Tier 4, different to the rest of the tiers. So one-shot quali, slightly less of a shock to the system for these guys than that 25% race to decide their positions for the full race. Be interesting to see how it goes though. Have a quick look at the constructors. Aston Martin currently leading on that front. Aston Martin Tier 4 drivers. We've got Pio, and we have got, who's the other one? Haven't yet. I think that's one of the people who are actually waiting for in the lobby, so I can't see from the current screen I'm looking at, which means I'm going to have to look at a different screen. So Wuban, one of the drivers, still not yet in. I think we may have to get a reserve for him. It sounds like he's got power cards. So yeah, Wuban unlikely to be racing. We'll see which other drivers they can get in. There we go, one more driver just joined. So it should be starting fairly shortly, starting with the one-shot quali. We'll see how it goes. They are looking for one reserve to replace Wuban. So, from what he's saying, not likely that his power cut is going to come to an end. In the meantime, I'll have a look at this track preview. Last season, Tier 4 Cami was the driver who won at Silverstone. So, suspect he'll be a favourite for it then. One of the longer tracks. See how it goes. One-shot quality. A few places we've got to be careful not to invalidate, but most drivers will play it cautious. So those drivers who push, easier to start near the front, which can be huge for feature race. At the same time, you don't want that to backfire, invalidate your lap, and you're starting right at the back, have to fight your way back up through the order. Of course, does give you tyre advantage. Because up in Tier 2 on Monday, we only had one driver attempt to do one shot quali on the mediums. They were outside the top 10 anyway, so it didn't pay off. But we will see how it all turns out. Trying to have a look if we've got anybody that's responded. None of the reserves yet said anything, so it might be we end up starting with 19 drivers, which of course, while not perfect, is still fairly full grid. So here we go, our calendar, this is our second sprint race of the season, out of 3. We've not got our last one till much later in the season at Azerbaijan. Actually, you'll see a small change to the calendar from what it was previously. We've replaced the Russian Grand Prix with the Abu Dhabi one. Choice the admins made. So, right, it does sound like they are going to be starting shortly. But yeah, no, we've replaced that Grand Prix round 11, and also after the break week, not that this affects tiers 3 or 4, but tiers 1 and 2 will be taking 2 weeks of break, just for logistical reasons. They want it happening after tier 3 and 4. So drivers, one of them is readied up. There we go, starting to ready up now. We'll hop straight into that one-shot qualifying and then jump into the 25% sprint race. I think this should be good fun. I don't think I've commentated at Tier 4 before. Done Tier 1, done Tier 2, done Cone Cup. Have I done Tier 3? Possibly. But it should be interesting seeing how the drivers are different, of course. Drivers here slower, more inexperienced. Most of them will know to be cautious. And quite a few of them are guys who are perfectly fast on pad, but are choosing to do league racing on a wheel and using this as their learning ground. So who fits that? I'm trying to remember which some of the drivers know that to be. I think Farrell Fury that applies to. Cannot remember where he's in the championship, but the drivers have now all readied up, so we will hop on to, there we go. We'll see, for one shot quali, most of it will be paying attention to the standings on the left. And while that's happening, I can stick up a thing that explains the format during a sprint race. So here we go. I will stick up that sprint race format on the right there, so you can see one shot qualifying followed by that 25% sprint race where top 5 drivers will be getting points, and then a 50% race where 15 of our drivers get points, which usually means all drivers who finish will get some form of points, with 40 points available for the win. So a lot of points available, just got to play it smart across the season. There's another look at who won last week. Our podium. Here we go, getting underway into the race. Well, oh, now we do have a couple of people using the mediums. Sorry, let me remove that. So keep an eye on who's at the front already. A couple of people with qualifying bans had to invalidate. We'll hop on board with Farrell Fury. Currently near the front of the drivers. So yeah, those two I think. Told to invalidate as part of their qualifying ban procedure. Has anyone yet invalidated? No, but Maverick is very far behind the field. So currently Farrell leading the pack though. Seems to be top 4 or 5 swapping positions. No one getting a huge lead yet. Spider Rob choosing the mediums to qualify with. Doesn't seem to be working too well for him, currently sitting in 13th place. Farrell currently the leading driver, Pio just behind him. Aussie Bailiff also shown to be up there quite a bit. I think Cammy's invalidated. He was right near the front before. Yep, Cammy has invalidated. Maverick has not, so just one driver is invalidated so far. Pio currently leading the charge. And Farrell has dropped down the order quite a bit. Lost time through Maggots and Beckett's. Pio currently looking like he's going to be the one starting on that pole position. They come around the last corner. Aussie currently leading. Who's going to get it? It is Bailey if he gets it by just over 1/10. I can see very, very close among the front drivers. Already all across the line. And Matt Roney getting a bit of support in the chat. So here we go. Having a look at the order here. Bailiff starting on that front position. Aussie just behind him, 10th and a half. His top four, only just 2/10 separating them. Bit of a gap down to Craigo, and then look at these guys here. 7th, 8th, 7/thousandth separating them. Couple drivers flying the Ukraine flag. Don't think that's their nationality, but doing it in support, of course, of Ukraine. No, more than a few drivers have changed their helmet today. Spider Rob on the medium, finishing 12th position. And of course, we had some people invalidating or having to DSQ. So in the end, 15 drivers setting laps and going onto the formation lap for the 25% race and hopping straight into the race from there. So there we go, that's our point system for the 50% race. Not there yet, still have the 25% race to go. But that is the number of points drivers are fighting for. And given the leaders, not even at 100 yet, 40 points is a huge amount that comes to the championship. So here we go now. Bailiff will be leading them around for the formation lap. We'll have a look at what tyres everybody is on. Of course, the top 10 all starting on the soft. Spider Rob, Moody, Freefall, Xenon and Maverick all choosing to start on the medium tyres. Everybody else on the soft. We'll see how it goes. Haas is the only team to have 2 drivers within the top 10. So nearly had 10 different teams and 10 different drivers there. Those drivers now warming up their tyres. Their last time to kind of get into the flow of things before the race. See how it goes for them. I apologise in advance if I say any driver names incorrectly. Some of these names are completely new to me. Some of them I've seen before, either just in CRL in general, or some of them I know. Craigo, I think, has raced in Tier 2 in the past. I know I've raced alongside Pio, but not under that name. That wasn't in F1. Oh, and also something to point out, between the sprint race and the full race, there will be a 10-minute interval. I'll just have another look at the stand-ins. If it's a particularly exciting race, I might try and get some of the drivers who got onto the podium in the sprint race in for a quick chat, but of course that's entirely up to the drivers. Some of them don't like to have their concentration knocked. There we go, all the drivers weaving. What a view. How it seems is that Melvin's ended up... Nope, his teammate. Where's his teammate? I know it's Maverick who's ended up on the grid. So not sure what it missed that, but went for a crash already. Didn't get time to warm his tyres, but here we go. Driver's now starting to line up. Bailiff taking that front position, ready to start his race. See all the drivers lining up. Sticking on position change, you can see we've got a better camera angle. That one I do. See which drivers the big gainers and losers throughout the first lap. And already the graphics mixed up. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. And away they go. So you can get a good start. Bailiff already cutting off Aussie. Pio, very good start up into third position on the inside. And we see a crash further back down the order. And that's already Greg retired from the race. Both Alfa Romeos caught up in that. No safety car at all in the sprint race. So just a brief yellow flag. That's 3 drivers caught up. One of them DNF'd from the session already. Bailiff still leading. Pio lost that third position he had temporarily. Cami is up 10 positions and don't know how he's managed that. Farrell down 8. As is Ash. Spider Rob down 6. Caught up in that instant alongside Greg. Pio now sitting right on the back of Chugs. Cami having a very good race. Saw is one of the quicker drivers, messed up his qualifying. I think he might already be looking for another move here on Harvey. So a move into Cops. We already know what this can do. We've seen it at actual F1, but he's further ahead. And there we go, up the inside. Although the Haas going wide to hold it around the outside. Haas might receive a warning for that, but does maintain his position. Going side by side into Maggots and Beckett's. Now I'm not sure either driver's going to want to give up. There was a bit of contact. And Harvey has gone around. That's dropped him right back down the order. Only drivers who got involved with that crash. And Ash involved with that. So have a look further up the order. The top 2 runners very close. Bailiff right on the tail of Aussie. See the front 5 all starting their initial positions. Cami certainly seems to be one to watch out for. So it's going to be hard for him to catch up with the guys at the front. Stick it back onto tyre. And some of the drivers lost front wing going into the pit lane. Of course, Cami possibly at risk. I don't know what happened between him and the Haas of being reported. This lead battle still raging on. They do seem to be slightly dropping the guys behind. Although having said that, Chug's now closing the gap down to them. Was 8 tenths at one point. But it's that dirty air. It can be hard to follow through some of these corners. So Aussie now in the McLaren, not close enough for a move here. That one trying to set something up on the hang straight, sweeping through Cops. Now on the tail of the Alpine through Maggots, Beckett's. That's about the exit speed. He's got plenty of VRS to use if he needs it. Going a bit wide onto the grass, that's going to lose him a bit of time. Has he got enough overspeed? DRS not enabled until next lap on the outside here. Not sure we'll be able to hold it around the outside, but he's certainly going to give it a good go. No, now looking for the cutback, but of course he wants the inside line. And he has gone up the inside. It's a bit argy-bargy. In the end, contact does occur, but neither driver going for a spin, and that does bunch up the top 4 a lot. Pio now right on the tail of Chugs. There's lots and lots of drivers getting on the fastest lap. Cami now closing in on 7th position, and we'll see DRS, there we go, now enabled. Drivers were using that to advantage. Chugs lagging quite a bit there. Hopefully that doesn't cause any problems for the drivers around him. So we might see a lead change now with the DRS that Aussie has. There we go, goes for a move on the outside. Goes a bit deep though, Bailiff getting the better grip. And Chugs has left the session. Quite probably internet related, given what we saw his car doing further back down the order. Goodness, these 3 are close. Cami again trying on the inside of Cops. Krager on the outside. And who's got it? It looks like Cami does have it going into Maggots and Beckett's. Now, going to have to sit behind. Try maybe for moving the hang straight. Of course, they have DRS, but so does the driver ahead. And it seems Craigo looking to fight it back on the outside. We've seen Cami one of the far more aggressive drivers. I think Craigo's got this. Craigo's had some experience in the higher tiers. He spent time in tier 2 and tier 3. But Cami in the end does seem to get it. Of course, Shaden behind, looking to capitalise on that space created, not quite able to do so. Now actually having to defend behind from that Ferrari of Marv. Or Mar, not Marv. Got Home Alone stuck in my head. Oh, we've got a spinner, that's Xenon further down the order. Alfa Romeo really not having good luck here. Getting back on the track right near the back of the field. A few drivers are further behind, not able to do anything with it yet. It seems the front two battling away. Stay on board with this battle for the moment. Mayliff still holding that lead he started with. But Aussie making him work for it. So here we go now, on the inside, going into the cops. And there is a bit of contact, but not enough to unsettle the Alpine, who's now right on the tail of the McLaren, not really able to pass through here. You just want the fastest exit you can get through the last corner. Is that DRS going onto the hanging straight, and I think Bailiff has worked this perfectly. There we go, on the inside. That should be him back into the lead, bumping tyres a little bit there. And Aussie looking to sweep back into the inside once the overtake was complete, not able to do it. As he goes wide, gets himself 3 seconds of penalties, and that could be important further down the line. Pierre will be looking at this and thinking, how can he capitalise from it? Bit of a gap behind him to Reverend Melvin in 4th. Melvin himself not into defenders. There's a 1.5 second gap down to the 4th place of Craigo. Sorry, the 5th place of Craigo, who himself is defending from Cami, an aggressive driver from what we've seen so far. Making those really work around him. It's very tight among the top 3, though interestingly they are slightly distancing that AlphaTauri. So we'll see Harvey further down the order getting 3 seconds of time penalties. I think, has he been lapped? No driver yet to be lapped other than, of course, Chugs, who wasn't actually in the lobby. That'll be his AI. Well, that's an interesting place to go for a move, and you know what, Aussie's made it work. Past Bailiff into the lead. And there's 3 lead runners. Now it's who can do what with the DRS. Bailiff, huge amounts of overspeed, going on the grass to get it through. But he's made it work. The Aston Martin sitting behind, looking to capitalise on this. You can see just how close these two are at the moment. Barely a quarter of a second separating the top 3. And Pio's gone through it. Pio up into 2nd position. Saw a gap, took it. The others busy fighting. This has allowed Melvin to catch up, making it a 4-way battle for the lead. Further down, Cami moving into the pit lane as Bailiff goes for a spin. That's Bailiff off after such a good start to the race. Perhaps not used to the dirty air of the car ahead, having led most of the way. Now coming back to bite him. Also further down, I think that's... yeah, Harvey's gone for a spin down in 17th place. Through Cops. Pio currently holding the lead, Reverend Melvin just behind him. So Aussie dropped down a couple of positions there. And Harvey again gone round. And that same middle sector. A few drivers now picking up penalties. Now let's see, Pio, decent gap to Melvin, but not a massive one. That DRS on the long straight, he's going to be able to close it. I don't think we'll be able to go for a move here unless it's really going to send it, but no. Of course, on the same tyres, same age. Aussie going wide. We'll have a look at what those penalties are looking like. 3 seconds for all of them. A few drivers going into the pit lane, Pio and Shaden. So Melvin taking the current lead. Just the guys who pitted, Cami currently leading them. We'll see where some of these lead runners come out compared to him. It's Melvin going deep, and Aussie gets through into the lead. Let's have a look. Harvey retiring in the pit lane. Man, Chucks has been able to rejoin, that's good. So Cammy's got himself up into second of the guys who've gone for a pit stop. Avoided the fighting. We saw that hugely group fighting. And that seems to have cost them in the grand scheme of things. Hop back on board this lead group. Unlikely to see any moves going on here. Zang, we've missed a move between Pio and Cammy. Pio going on the outside. Can't remember what that corner's called. But he's made it work. No, it seems we've lost the interval times for a moment, which is thank you, Codemasters. So among that lead group, we've got Aussie and Reverend Melvin going into the pit lane. Craigo, only man staying out on the softs for the moment. We'll see where this front two come out compared to this battle here. Currently battling for 6th. Who are the guys ahead also going into the pit lane? Seems neither Xenon nor Ghost doing so. As Farrell gets that fastest lap. And we'll see Aussie coming out alongside Pio on 1 lap fresh and mediums. And it looks like he's managed to do a good job here, though of course he does have those 3-second penalties he picked up earlier. His free fall also getting 3 seconds. Interestingly, Aussie pulling to the inside. Pio not going to do anything about it. Now trying to the outside, and they're going 3 wide here. Cammy going up the inside of 2 of them. And Pio's, where they ended up, the McLaren's ended up at the back of this. The Red Bull Farrell trying to make something of it. But in the end, Cammy's the one who comes out ahead. Contact between the Aston Martin and the Red Bull, who does tag the McLaren, luckily not causing the McLaren to spin, but still spinning out himself. Farrell dropping right the way down to 12th, and that's really going to hurt his race. Both this one and the full race, most drivers now doing their 1 pit stop they planned. Cammy here trying to pull alongside, but not really the best place to be doing so. It's this exit here onto Hanger Straight where you want to be making your moves if you can. Huge amounts of overspeed, and Aussie looking to go on the outside of Pio here, who himself is considering a move on Cammy. Aussie getting that move complete, moving up into P5 for the moment, as we've got Craigo and Xenon going into the pits up ahead, as does Ghost. Ghost going too quick into the pit lane, of course. The pit lane speed limit here, 13 miles an hour slower than most other tracks. Might catch some drivers out. Forget that fact. We'll see where they will come out and track. And yeah, all that fighting, Craigo in the lead. And outside of DRS range, he's now just got to get his head down, avoid getting penalties. And this looks good for him. Craigo, is he currently in the top 5 in the championship? No, he's not. Did finish P3 at Interlagos last round though. So we'll see what he can make of that. Oh, and already actually, Cammy has caught up. I wonder if that was a mistake from Craigo or just timing's showing he's ahead of where he was. So it's still slow and coming out the pit lane. Here we go, sweeping through this corner. Drivers can be tricky to take that one flat, especially if you've been going from running soft tyres to medium tyres, past that dirty air of the guys ahead of you. There's more penalties starting to pick up through the field now. Just 4 more laps to go, plus the rest of this one. Yeah, considering a move, decides better of it. Slots in behind, but now looking for a move, going up the inside. Ooh, only just left room. And Cammy now looking for the switchback, not quite going to make it happen. The guys slightly caught each other, and Aussie's just said, yes, thank you, please, I'll take 2 positions, and he moves up into P2. And he'll be laughing as these two keep fighting behind. Cammy now on the inside, and he does get through past Pio, who's also got passed by Reverend Melvin, who might be able to pass Cammy as well. These two fighting away, might lose 2 positions to both of them. Seems not as that. Pio has gone for a spin. Pio and Shaden must have had contact, both of them affected. Shaden slightly questionable rejoin. Catching Maverick, not quite affecting him too badly. Pio letting Moody through. Oh, and just going wide there, picking up 3 seconds of penalties. That's a shame for him. So here we go, Craigo now with a decent lead, but he's picked up some penalties. And everything's kicking off now. But Cammy currently, when all penalties are applied, is the leader. I just have to worry about Reverend Melvin just behind him and getting his own penalties. So have a quick look at these two, where they're sitting on warnings. The Cammy on 2 warnings, Melvin on 2 himself. So neither can afford to get any more, and they'll know this. They'll be keeping count. Just 3.5 laps to go. Some of the drivers starting to pick up more penalties now. So actually, if Craigo can keep his pace up and Cammy's defending from Melvin, in addition to his fresher tyres, he might just very well be on to winning despite his 3-second penalty. Melvin understeering a bit there. See what he can do here. DRS zone, but actually he is right on the tail, going quicker for the moment. Of course, Melvin, no. DRS from the driver ahead, not close enough. Tries to sweep around the outside. Not really enough room, ran out of space there. Some good hard racing going on. No contact between the 2 cars. Melvin staying behind for the moment. Yeah, the gap now between Cammy and Craigo is over 3 seconds. So Craigo now leading when all penalties are applied. These two essentially fighting for second at the moment, but of course this fighting could still cost them even more time still. Yeah, I'll turn the game volume up a bit. Oh, no wait, I haven't got it on at all. I had the game volume muted in OBS, which may be why it seemed quiet. My apologies. Felt like a bit of a fall for that one. I can't actually hear the game volume myself, so. Here we go, side by side for these two. And Cammy staying ahead, but also picking up 3 seconds of penalties, but so does Melvin. And now most of the field with penalties. And all of it seems to be with 3 seconds, other than, of course, Ghost, who got 5 seconds of speeding into the pit lane. That yellow flag, is that for Moody on the main straight, or is that for someone else? Not sure who it was for. Flag now brought in. Oh, where's my thing? There's now Aussie's closed in on Craigo. Now Craigo with the slightly fresher tyres. Both of them 3 seconds of penalties, but it is now just track position between the two of them. Just 1.5 laps to go now. Now a decent enough gap to third position. They can actually afford to fight without too much risk, even getting more penalties. And as I say, that Aussie does get more penalties, and he now really can't afford to get any more. It seems Pio lost a lot of time through cops there, not sure what happened. Xenon right on Farrell's tail, we'll keep an eye on this. As I say that, actually, side by side here, Melvin and Cammy. Ooh, bit of contact, not quite spinning the car ahead. And this just increasing the gap to the guys ahead, and all that was a bit risky. And that's his front left gone, Melvin out of this race. Of course, still able to participate in the full race. That was a shame for him, going to be starting right near the back after that. So Cammy now defending from... Is it just Mar? Am I misreading that possibly? All the leaders swapping positions here. Craigo going for a move on Aussie, and they touch, and Aussie's gone round. And he's 6 seconds of penalties, so of course that's going to cost him more. Because all the guys around him are only sitting on 3 seconds. And just needs to be careful of his teammate here when he rejoins. Shaden, luckily ghosting through him. This is great news for Craigo. He's now got a huge lead to the rest of the field. Early ending penalties now on the last lap, and this is looking very, very good for him. Cammy battling away here. See what happens. These two fighting for that second position. Only 1 point difference, but the cost is whether or not you start on the front row in that second position. And here we go now, Mar trying on the outside of Cammy. And you know what, he's held it perfectly, a beautiful overtake there. Can Cammy get any move done into the final chicane? Brakes very late. All turns in contact. And the Williams driver spins round, drops those positions. Craigo getting the win. The two McLarens seems getting third. She also is going to drop down the order a bit because of his extra penalties. A great result here from the McLarens. Bailiff getting fourth. Where's Cammy in the end of things? He ends up 7th, only just ahead of Xenon. Alongside, have a look further down the order, Pio next across the line. And we'll have Ash. Moody just defending off free fall. Ghost at the moment, and Spider Rob right behind him. Of course, these two both in quite a large amount of penalties. As long as Spider Rob within 2 seconds of Ghost, he is going to move up into 14th position. Of course, everything you can get helps in the end, and that concludes the sprint race. What an overtake for the end. Of course, Cammy pushing too hard, turning into that Ferrari, spinning himself around. So there we go. Our driver there, Craigo, getting himself 5 points from this. Just 15 points up in total for the 5 drivers combined. Actually, it's 2 of the guys running the Ukraine flag, so that's certainly nice to see. So there we go. There we go, yeah, Craigo getting that win. Mar and Shaden 2nd and 3rd. Bailiff getting that 4th position, and Maverick picking up that last 1 point. Oz in the end getting fastest lap, of course, no bonus points for that in the sprint race. And where did the Pulsator end up? He might have been blind. Who was our Pulsator? It was Bailiff, so it was 4th in the end. I was being blind. So yeah, there we go. That concludes the sprint race. Now we're going to have a quick 10-minute break before we get into the full 50% race. This setting the order for that. It certainly looks like it is going to be a good race. Giving the drivers very, very close on pace. There's a few mistakes and quite a lot of penalties going on. Just give you a rough idea of the order. That we'll go back to having a look at that track preview while we're in that pause. So yeah, actually, something Cammy's just pointed out is very, very close to getting P18 to either P2 or P3 there. It sounds like some of the drivers aren't going to be wanting to report incidents. But Craigo doing very, very well. So actually, I want to see where Craigo is in the championship. He's not in the top 5. I can stick it up here. Here we go. So Craigo is currently 12th position, but he's on 54 points. So this knocks him up to 59 points of those 5 extra points for getting that win in the sprint race. Yeah, and means he's starting on pole position. So I'll be happy with his performance from this. If you really want to hop into here, you got a 10-minute break, so I'm happy to give you a quick interview if you want one. Well, I can't say I know which driver that is. I'm going to assume that's Shaden typing, judging by the name. Just have to get onto the podium in the full race to get yourself an interview then. I'm pretty interested though as to how Cammy managed to gain so many positions on his first lap. Certainly made that work very, very well for him. Oh, it's your first year on podium, well done there. Where are you in the championship at the moment? You're 5th. That reminds me of Hobbsy last season in Tier 2. He managed to get, actually and he was in McLaren then as well. He managed to get 5th in the championship and his only podium was in the last round. So, did well through consistency, not any specific special performances. But yeah, up in Tier 2, both times we've had the same winner for the sprint race. Who actually didn't end up finishing the main race this time. Involved in an incident. So I think it'll be round about 1:45 when we start with the 50% race. At the moment though, the Tier 3 one should be going on. I'll have a quick look at that. I think the link for the Tier 3 one's in the description. Oh, they've got rain. Someone predicted rain for them. Where are they? They're on lap 5. So there we go. Here is once again our last land results. Ignore the date, it's incorrect. Where did Indian... You can see there, Indian Jesus getting the fastest lap and the pole position. A 10-second difference. Guess Tier 4 must have had rain last race. So we'll see if the guys... Where do Craigo, Mar... I feel like I'm saying the name wrong. And Shaden end up finishing overall. Have to keep an eye on what they do from here. And also Cammy, he'll be starting 7th. We saw that spin, but he seems to be one of the faster drivers. Certainly not afraid of going for an overtake. So yeah, drivers have been told to ready up at 8:42, so that's currently 3 minutes from now, I guess probably 2.5. Look at the constructors. The Williams and the Ferrari doing pretty well from Tier 4, as is the McLaren actually. 3 teams all very close. The Williams doing the best out of the Tier 4 drivers from the first 5 rounds. See what this ends up. Hop. Actually, I'll have a quick look at the January rankings. January driver rankings include all 4 tiers worth of drivers. You can see 6 guys up there from Tier 4. So I think actually them joint with Tier 1 for the most drivers. This is just the first 2 rounds. And then we're going to end up with... Is it going to be 4 rounds up there from Yeah, I think there'll be 4 rounds in there from February. But Leon topping that in January driver rankings. Mar leading it out of the Tier 4 guys. Along with Bailiff, Farrell, Ash, Cammy and Shaden. So it should be getting into the race fairly shortly, just a minute now from when drivers were told to ready up. And of course, something to point out, drivers do have free tyre choice. So anyone can start on any tyre. Even if they are in the top 10, you can start Tier 2. Certainly had someone starting on pole position using the medium tyre. It was going well for them until they get involved in an incident. We'll see what people do with that extra bit of strategy to work with. Right, he's now a 42, and yep, some of the drivers now are starting to ready up. Oh, next week Portimao should be good fun. Kind of forgotten to look ahead at what was coming next, but Portimao, very nice track. We saw Kimi's monstrous lap 1 there. Guess what he's now last year. Doesn't feel like 2022 yet. So here we go, race going to be underway soon. See what kind of tyre strategy people are going for. If it decides to rain and ruin all their plans, what happens? And this time I'll make sure to not have the game on mute. So here we go, here's where it gets interesting. What drivers... Oh, it's raining, it is raining. But I'm no good fun looking at the drivers all complaining then. So this possibly throws a spanner in the works of some drivers. And it doesn't sound like... I've already forgotten who it was. We had the internet issues, or the power cut even. Sounds like they've not been able to get themselves back in. Oh, it was Wuban. Now, interestingly, from what the drivers are saying, it says the weather's dry for them, but showing it to be wet. But here we go, and what tyres is everyone on? Yeah, everyone on the Inters. On this formation lap, Grego, of course, going to be starting at pole position. Mar alongside him. And already 2 of the drivers have gone round and immediately starting from the grid. So if you're wondering why free fall starting from the back, that is due to a qualifying ban. It only applies once we get into this 50% race. Reading what they've just said, Free Fall went for a practice start and Greg didn't, and I guess a bit of rear ending happened, so they might get a bit of time to warm up their intermediate tyres. See how it works. She's a very clocked up bunch back there, not going to crash into each other, are they? Which group's this? A bit further back than this. Wait, some drivers are definitely out of place actually. Ash much further back, perhaps suffering on the wet conditions. Just at the moment, the edge telling everyone it's inters all the way. Of course, weather subject to change. This is where the fun bit begins. Craig are miles ahead of everyone else. Not sure why he chose to do this. See how this works for him. Of course, this is very much the England I know, not the sunny thing we had in Tier 2, but the wonderful rain. Raining a bit today where I am. So the drivers now coming onto the grid, taking up their positions. See that tiny dry patch under the Pirelli section. I wonder how much that affects grip. Is there going to be significantly more grip for that Ferrari on the inside? Having some of the tyres start on the dry section of track. Last few people now pulling onto the grid will stick it onto position changes, so again we can see possibly can we fly up the order yet again. So here we go, drivers waiting to go. And off the line they go, and Craig a much better reaction time than Mark. Already I think under threat of losing his position to Shaden. We've got a Ferrari going round. Didn't crash, I think that was Ghost. Spider-Rob also losing quite a few positions, then on up 5 positions. Not too many changes further up the order, though. We've got an Alpine going slow there, who's got sandwiched between 2 McLarens. Oh, and there is a bit of contact there. McLaren of Aussie going round. Shane taking the lead. Are they 5 wide there? I'm not even sure. Either way, drivers starting to settle down into their positions. So you're all coming down the hangar straight, and a huge gap already between the first and last drivers. Everybody's so close together. Free fall going for a move on. Ooh, contact behind. Both drivers held it. Both Aussie and Matt Harvey have held it. Credit to them. And currently, I'm not sure Farrell wants to be going for a move here. Bailiff carrying more speed into the corner, making it work. They're not losing too much time. These two going side by side into Maggots and Beckett's, and that is something that sounds scary in rain. In the end, settling down, front 3 guys, bit of a gap to the rest of the field. Grego, Mar and Shaden, nearly 2 seconds down to Maverick. See free fall up 7 positions. Cammy only up 2 compared to his 10 or so last race. Bailiff now looking at trying to get his position back, considering it. Pulling it alongside, bit of contact turning perhaps a bit earlier, given there was a car on the inside. The Alpine going wide, but in the end, pulling ahead. We've got a yellow, that is for, who's that? Ghost and Ash having it coming together, I think. Just a cart going round, the field's still very close together. We've got a Haas behind, going for a move there. Not making it work. Pio on the outside of Moody. Moody going to try and hold on. Still only lap 2. Drivers fighting the way closer than they started on the grid. As Aussie gets 3 seconds of penalty. That gap between 3rd and 4th has built up a bit. Actually, Craig built up a bit of a gap. Down to 2nd and 3rd position. He's looking very strong. Ferrari going wide. We'll see. Ooh. Not the best line there from McLaren, and loses huge amounts of time in the rain. Drivers around seem to gain half a second or so. The Haas alongside the AlphaTauri here. In the end, AlphaTauri getting ahead. So here we go though, pulling back alongside, and this time the Haas has got the inside line. Considering the cutback, but there we go, Chugs perfectly parks it on the apex. Looking to move there, Melvin doesn't go for it. Craig set on the fastest lap. Continuing to pull away from the rest of the field. And we've got a yellow flag, although I can't see a driver around. No, I can, it's free fall further back down the order. And free fall. Still hasn't got his car going. Is that a dead wheel or something? No, moving now. Don't even see any damage to his front wing. It's interesting there, we'll hop back and walk to some of the battles nearer the front. Can be now back behind Bailiff, we saw that overtake I think earlier. Most of the field doing a decent job here, though a lot of them struggling through cops. Really struggling to get the grip there. Also it's like they're turning the wheel too much. Here we go, Pio looking for the move on Moody. Using that ERS, it seems Moody. Well, Moody's already used all of his ERS this lap, so he can't use any more. Moody braking later, and he's made that work quite well for him. Of course, a slightly slower exit, but it means he's able to hold on to the position. Both of them ran out of ERS this lap. Moody goes deep. Krieger again setting that fastest lap and just pulling away from the rest of the field. Battle for second kicking off though. Shane now right behind Marlow, getting the spray in his face. Been following him perfectly here. The line with slightly less rain where the cars have been. Yeah, these guys now losing time to Krago. Quick look at those penalties. Wrong way. Which way is it now? Yeah, all of them just on 3 seconds at the moment. Keep it on position change because they're all on intermediate tyres straight from the start. So that won't be any differences going on there. See the field now quite a bit more spread out than most of them in the second half of the second sector. No huge gaps, kind of. Put your foot down for a couple of laps and you might catch up with the group ahead. What's Farrell trying to do to Cammy here? Ooh. Nearly able to tuck in alongside him, not able to get the move done though, as Chug gets himself 3 seconds of penalties. Now right behind the Williams. Going a bit wide, they're losing some time. Actually, who's that? Just a small mistake there from Cammy. And that's given Farrell quite a bit of overspeed. Of course, wet conditions, no DRS to work with. Drivers just do it all. Good corner exits, good ERS management, and the rain's slightly easier. A few more drivers now picking up penalties. The top 3 in their initial positions. No one swap there. Krago really making the rain work for him. This is where, yeah. Got to be really careful of that dirty air. Peaceful sounds unhappy. Xenon looking for moving the inside of Chugs, and he's managed to pull alongside by braking a bit later. Chugs on the outside got more grip, but this time, yeah, goes for cutback. Melvin got a good view of the two of them from behind. Actually, he's going to try and get past Chugs. And he's got it done. Chugs too busy fighting with the Alfa Romeo. Lost the position, the Alfa Tauri. Oh, we've had a change for 4th position. Bailiff must have been flying past Maverick. He's already that far ahead. Cammy just behind. Oh, and he is alongside Red Bull of Farrell. He'll be watching this. Wondering what's going to happen. He's got a nice view. Two side by side, Maverick forced to both going deep. And here we go, Farrell, a little bit of contact. Manages to hold on to it though, could have got 2 positions. And Moody just passes the both of them. Both losing a lot of speed from that. Oh, it's not Ferrari's fit to jump on board with. And yeah, Moody will be happy with that. Now at 5 positions. While Xenon further down the order as Freefall goes for another spin. Seems not working well with this wet weather. About off a second. Very small gap at the moment. Now, I wonder if any of the drivers are going to try and take the inters all the way to the end. Being just a 50% race probably is doable. It all depends on what their weather radar look like. I think they're going to be able to take it all the way, if they should take it all the way anyway, on their tyres. Xenon getting up the inside of Pio and a very nicely done overtake. They're going to be careful of the cutback. But no, not able to happen, and Pio might have to worry about an attack from behind now. There we go, another driver running that blue and yellow on the helmet. So current finishing positions, I think Mar will be the championship leader unless Cammy can work his way up the order. 33 points for that second position, although it might end up being only 28 if Shaden has anything to say about it, going up the inside here. And that is the McLaren up into P2 for the moment. Mar going to try and get him back into this chicane, too far back I think to go for the lunge. Force to let that position slip. So still a bit of a train here building up behind Cammy. It's hard to gain up on your championship rivals when you're having to defend. And Moody looking for the move here into turn 1. Actually taking a very nice line there. Worked Cammy. Driving very, very defensive. Lots of different lines in the wet. Oh, hang on. That's a Red Bull. There's a tiny bit of contact there. Farrell not able to get past in the end. And DRS now enabled. And that usually means dry commands. There. Try that again. The dry commands of tyres now might start to be a bit quicker. Xenon again gaining another position. And drivers now considering when they want to come in. And they might want to base it as we see their Maverick further back down the order coming in. Based on how far they think they can take tyres. The mediums from here might struggle to get to the end. It might be you want to wait a few more laps, so you just have to do a 1-stop. Of course, there's always that risk of the safety car further down the line. There's Mar getting 3 seconds of penalties, and that's not what he needed. Farrell It's a good exit here. Doesn't want to get overtaken by Pio, but I think it might happen. DRS now enabled. The drivers can go much quicker than they were beforehand. No Pio himself having to defend from Aussie. We'll see who goes into the pit lane. Shaden into the pit lane. Craigo staying out. We'll see what else happens. Seems roughly 50-50 so far who's going into the pit lane and who is not. Having said that, no, more and more drivers into the pit lane. And Melvin stuck it in the pit wall. That's an interesting place to park your car. Spider Rob ghosting through, luckily. Yeah, Ghost staying out on track. So now the question is, these guys staying out on track, where are they going to come out in comparison? And actually, now it's worth having a look at tyres, see what tyres people are putting on. Some softs, more on the mediums, however. And already the guys fighting on dry tyres, although they're going to have to be careful. The ground's looking much drier, but the Xenon demonstrated there, it's still not completely, as he nearly goes for a small spin. Yeah, I think drivers need to come in this lap. I mean, they're going to be losing far too much time if they don't. Shaden already right on the back of Ghost. Now, is Shaden going to go for a move here? The Inters, yeah, the Inters definitely slow. You can see from here. It's Craig going Mar Bailiff into the pit lane. And yeah, that's just how much better the Inters are actually. Shaden playing it smart. Manages to get the DRS. You can see just how much the Inters are losing. Shaden would have lost a bit stuck behind that. Now the question is, where the guys who waited one more lap going to come out in comparison? Because I think the Inters were far too slow and going to affect them a lot. Well, hang on, is that Pio already out the pit lane? Oh no, that's Pio staying out on track. As is Greg. I think that's a big mistake. Here we go. Craigo coming out. P3. Of course, if it does get even more wet, again, the two guys at the front will be laughing, but at the moment doesn't seem to be going their way. They are now the only two people who have not pitted for a dry compound of tyre. Oh, bit of battling going on there. Sure, F1's not supposed to be a contact sport, but yeah, Craigo's already caught up with Greg. There's no way staying out in the Inters was a good choice. I think we'll see, yeah, P8 pulling into the pit lane. As Bailiff moves up into that 7th position. And of course, net P5 to take out two guys on Inters. We'll see just how far down the order they fly after that. Silverstone, one of the longest pit lanes, is Xenon getting past Mark. Ooh, and a lot of penalties there. 9 seconds for Xenon. Gained a lot of positions, but of course doesn't mean anything. You just get thrown back down the order again. We'll do a quick run down of the order. So Craigo currently leading the race. That first position, bit of a gap to Shaden, but not as much as he waited one more lap to pit, possibly a mistake. And that's despite the fact that the McLaren driver got stuck behind. Yellow flag there, I don't think it's for anything. Shaden currently sits in the 2nd position as Frowell is busy fighting with Moody. Bailiff in that 5th position. And we've got Xenon, Mark, Cammy, Aussie, Chugs, Spider Rob, Pio, Ash is right behind Pio, Maverick, Harvey, oh, hang on, I messed up there, Greg, Ghost, and Freefall. So that Xenon just left the session. Wonder if that was intentional or not. Hop back and forward with this battle for P2. Three-way fighting, only just behind the leader, Craigo. Of course, these guys on the medium is going to be slower for the moment as far as it's the fastest lap. However, those mediums might be able to make it to the end, unlike the softs. Taking the soft tyres to the end, very, very unlikely to happen. And if the rain does get heavier, then they've made the right choice. And the rain still somewhat visible on the camera. It's hard to say yet if they did make the right choice or not. Nearly touching the back of that McLaren there. And here we go, this could be interesting. Very, very close now. Coming through Maggotts and Beckett's, then going on to the hangar straight. Moody actually closing up a bit on the Red Bull ahead. So just slow exit to the last corner on the run part of the track. We'll see what we can do. Chug's leaving the session. A huge overspeed here for Farrell, flying past. No chance of defending there. Shaden side by side with Moody, of course, on the medium tyres is Shaden. He's going to have to give it everything he's got. Yeah, choosing to yield in the end. He knows further down the line his tyres will be in better condition. Whoa, look at that, perfectly done. Oh, don't want accident spin Moody out then. Up the inside, a bit of contact between the two of them. He's going to come out ahead, Shaden on the inside, but doesn't outbrake Mercedes. Mercedes taking P1 and P3 now. Looking very good for them. And Moody only on 3 seconds of penalties. So not too detrimental to Spider Rob. Is that a pit lane retirement? I think it may be. Yeah, it seems Spider Rob retiring in the pit lane. Just 17 drivers left. Now it's near enough halfway point of the race. Give me a second, I'm going to mute myself to get myself a quick drink. Right, so as I come back, Mark straight up the inside of Cammy. And Mark on the medium tyres, so he'll be happy with that. Now, Farrell has closed the gap up to Craigo. So I suspect we'll see that pass happen fairly shortly. Only so much you can do to defend against the soft tyre when you're on the medium. Because if you can hold on for long enough, your tyre becomes the faster of the two. And Krieger for the moment still holding on despite that DRS. Farrell now within that half second. I'm not sure at what point the mediums have become quicker than the softs. Certainly before the end of the race. Krieger wants to be holding on as long as he can. Neither driver yet with any penalties. It does seem at the moment like they are both in the strongest position, certainly compared to the rest of the field. As further down the order, that looks like Maverick has gone for a spin. He's on different strategies, and it may be that one of them sufficiently slow strategy that some of the guys behind can catch up if they're on a better strategy. Oh, and that's a safety car. That's a safety car brought out, and is that... What's caused that? Is that... I think that's just Maverick in the middle sector. Interesting, look like it's going out of the old pit lane. Well, some of the drivers will be laughing, especially the guys on the softs. Maverick, I'm not quite sure what he's doing here. Oh, he's got no front wing, okay. That would explain the lack of downforce. And that really throws things up a little bit, because now the guys who are on the soft tyres can pit again, and the other people might be forced to do the same. Their strategy may turn out to be the better one. We'll see what these two front guys do. Not the pit lane just yet, though. So yeah, all coming into the pit lane. It seems everybody's doing it. Obviously choosing to not do so on the mediums. Of course, any guys in the softs would be silly not to. Now, who's at risk of double stacking? Because that may be why Aussie chose not to pit. I completely lost track of where my... Ah, there it is. So Aussie, yeah, does retain the lead. Yeah, Bailiff going on for the mediums. Oh, there's an interesting choice. Drivers can use the same dry compound again as they've already used the Inter. But not all drivers may fully know the regulations under wet conditions. Don't want to risk getting a massive penalty at the end. See, now all lining up behind that Aston Martin safety car. It's free fall. That's not ideal. 5 seconds of speed in the pit lane. And all he really wants to do is just get on a fresh set of tyres, bomb it, catch back up with the safety car. Try and reel his race back in. Chugs is down at lap. Crago still in a very strong position though, but we'll have to be defending from Farrell. Potentially they're going to have Bailiff as a bit of a buffer. I'm not sure Bailiff's made the right decision here. Grayson goes trying to move up through the field, but they're still on old medium tyres. Not sure how that will work for them. Of course, in the middle, surrounded by soft guys who admittedly will be fighting each other, but they're potentially just going to fly down that order. Have a look. Neither of the current front two drivers are in the top 5 in the championship. Farrell, Bailiff both are. So Wilson and Crago, I think, saw was down in 12th, but currently championship wise it is 28 points to Farrell if he can hold this position. Of course, a very high chance he'll pass Aussie. Actually, especially given his penalty. It's a 33 points, more likely then. So here we go, I suspect. We're going to have another lap of safety car or not? Free fall, I think, now serving his drive-through he picked up last lap. Or is he changing? I see a front wing there. Yep, serving his drive-through. And doing new set tyres because why not? Maverick getting 3 seconds time penalty for corner caution on the safety car. Not particularly needed. How much was he on before? That was his first set of penalties, so that could be quite costly. Potentially he's going to use it to massively shoot up the order. No longer an option to him. So, I think, yeah, we are going to have another lap behind the safety car. In fact, free fall we're celebrating. Where's Chuck's got himself between 9th and 10th. But actually, he does have a guy on the medium tyres behind him. I think he is going to be somewhat expected to yield his positions. It's going to be very tricky for him to make anything of this. He's going to be, what, 9 laps of racing? No, sorry, I've just crossed the line. 10 laps of racing. No, it is going to be 9 laps of racing. This is on lap 17 and I have lap 18 onwards. And apologies if you can hear my PS4 in the background. You reckon Bailiff's going to get the win? See how that goes for him. Of course, on the medium tyres, he'll way up. Be careful not to get a penalty for anything silly like that. Bailiff potentially in for a good shot. I think the mediums will be the better tyre, but with only... How many laps of racing did I say? I can't remember. That number's increased again. I think 8 laps of racing, possibly 9 if Codemasters is bad at programming or coding, which we know is true. So possibly 9. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, essentially it is Krieger and Farrell doing their best on the softs versus Bailiff. Neither of those top 3 have penalties. Also Cammy, who interestingly just saw people trading positions. So you need to be careful not to get hit under safety car. Of course, does give you 5 seconds. And that can mess up your race. But there we go. There's that critical safety car in this lap. Now it's his job to back up the field. Hopefully we don't see anything too messy here. All the drivers now closing in, and Ozzy's job is just to hold on as long as he can. The more he can hold up the drivers behind there, kind of act as a bit of a shield for him. Of course, with his penalties, but most of the field does have some penalties. Oh, he's on 6 seconds though. Craig now right on his tail. Ozzy's still not gone. No, looks like he has gone. Krieger not really caught out by that, neither really was anyone. When I look at the times. There were already a few people passing potentially before the line. And Ozzy, yeah, he's already lost that lead. Oh, hang on a minute. He's gone for a spin. Kept his front wing. An interesting choice of rejoining. Krieger's already got that 1 second gap to the guys ahead of him. Yellow flag brought up, that is for Ash further down the order. And Pio's been disqualified for going the wrong way. Going backwards on the track. Hopefully this doesn't bring out another safety car. So that's Pio out of this race. Chug's still a lap down, just getting overtaken by most of the field now. Ash a long way down. try and get into time after that spin. Oh, he's Aussie. Hop on board with him as he's going round. And he's really coming straight back to the track, not using that escape road. Track and, oh, everyone's changing order here. Ah, that's because Farrell's made a mistake. There we go, trying to make sure he stays offline, not cause any problems for any drivers. Not going to have DRS just yet. So these two are side by side for 5th place here, right behind Cammy. See behind Moody seems to get ahead. Zenon looking for the cutback though. Zenon on the inside, a little bit of contact between the two of them. The Alfa Romeo in the end getting ahead, taking that 5th position for the moment. We've had a yellow brought out. Can't see the reason. You have Aussie going into the pit lane. Probably for new tyres giving a spin. Hopefully not to retire. Near the end, only one driver not going to get points and giving Chugs as a lap down. It seems probably be him. As a mistake there from Zenon, ends up sideways. Oof. And that's not the line you want to be taking. Luckily, Moore quite a long way back, so not able to take advantage of that too much. And given Farrell's mistake, Bailiff all of a sudden being dragged along by Crago, especially once DRS comes out. And you know what? It might turn out Atomic is correct about who's going to get this, as long as he can avoid any penalties. Dragon giving some support to the McLarens. Shedding currently P3, I think it was just 3 seconds of penalties, yes, so nothing too heavy. So it's not to worry when half the field has penalties. If any drivers go for an overtake down the hanger straight, then on a long way back from Moody. I think it is going to be for the next lap when DRS is enabled. Zenon going very wide there. Even more penalties slapped onto half. Bailiff setting fastest lap on those mediums. So Cammy taking it off him. Also advantage of a late safety car. It's a high chance someone in the top 10 gets that one extra point. Farrell now getting the fastest lap, and here we go, DRS now enabled. And did Bailiff get the DRS? Yes, he did. That was crucial because he was just starting to drop off a little bit. Bang, I haven't said that. I thought he did. Here we go now. Cammy, we wanted to get past Shaden as fast as he can. Try and catch up with the front two guys. He doesn't have any penalties. Oof. He used to do side by side through cops. Seems these drivers can do it better than Lewis and Verstappen. So they can learn a thing or two from our drivers. Currently Bailiff is starting to lose a bit of time to Crago. I did get DRS there. Going a little deep, missing the apex. And it's now Crago's job for the run to the hills as quick as he can. Pull away before Bailiff has the quicker tyres. Bailiff does seem to be closing in. Those tier 4 drivers more likely to make mistakes than most of the other fields. At the same time, they know that, and some of them know to not push too hard if they don't need to. Again, Zenon, Moody fighting away. Moody coming out on top that time, having the outside line. We're going to see his send from Zenon here. Does look for a move, decides better of it. Nearly clipping the rear right of Moody's car. But Moody retaining that 5th place. It's up ahead, yeah. Bailiff now closing that gap down onto Crago. A battle for 3rd and a battle for 5th kicking off. Now Cammy with much less ERS, but looks like he's going for a move on the outside here, slightly further behind. But there we go, perfectly done. Although going wide, doesn't want to earn himself any penalties. Manages to avoid it, but McLaren is alongside. Bit of contact between the two of them. Shaden staying ahead in the end. That's not what I meant to do. So now Moody heavily under threat. Massive amount of overspeed hit from the Alfa Romeo, and yeah, it's like he has got the move done. can see if I had that battle for third still going on. Shaden now on the outside, going into the chicane. If he can hold it for the first part, might be able to have it for the second part. No, not able to do so. Let's see now. Can we come through ahead? Shaden now actually under threat from behind. Such a slow exit himself. Moody was right in his tail. I think I should slow down through the corner for a second. Now just 4 laps remaining. We've got ourselves a bit of a train building here. There's a mistake there from Moody. Actually allows... Ooh! No, Farrell. Mistake from Moody means Farrell slowed down by him. Martin coming alongside and sending Farrell off. Hard to say that was anyone's fault, just a racing incident. Can't imagine being too happy with that though. Very hard to come back from this now, unlikely to win the safety kill. None of the top 3 runners now have to worry about penalties. Having said that, Farrell getting that 3-second time penalties, and all of a sudden it's looking very much in Craig's favour. Huge gap between 3rd and 2nd position. 5 seconds there. Shaden gets past Cammy. Shaden, oh no, I thought he was in his pit lane for a second. That is an interesting line by Cammy. That might lose him in position. Xenon can get a cut back on it, and it looks like he has done it. Done it on the inside hit. Through, missing the track just a little bit, but through up into P4. So Ozzy picks up 3 seconds of penalties. But Cammy knows he doesn't have to fight these guys too hard. The top 2 are out of reach. He just needs to stay within reach of 3rd position, get those 28 points nice and safely, and maybe push for fastest lap if he can. I think Farrell actually has that at the moment. I'll do a quick check. Yeah, Farrell does have that further down the order, so the point might not end up coming through for any of the drivers. Farrell needing a new front wing, I think. Oh no, actually Ozzy also coming into the pit lane, so he won't drop down to 14th. So Ozzy retiring. So Chugs, it seems after all of this, he is going to get points from this race. His front 2 fighting away, but penalty wise, all Craig has to do is not get one. I have a quick look at his warnings, see if he is at risk of anything. No, he just got one right near the start. I like the colours of the thing as we see Bailiff go through into the lead, sort of behind the settings thing. Bailiff taking the lead for the moment. Able to hold on, actually now starting to pull away from Craig. Craig just now needs to stay within those 3 seconds penalties that Bailiff has. Shaden losing a huge amount of time to Xenon. So much so that Cammy fights 2 months with Shaden here. It might be. How many penalties is how much? Oh no, okay, never mind, he's got 9 seconds. Harvey currently sitting on 15 seconds of penalties. Only 3 drivers without any: Craigo, Shaden and Farrell. A little bit of contact there, and that, yeah, Cammy far too aggressive, sending up the inside. Goes for a spin. I think if he would have lifted there, could have possibly avoided that. Just spin at the end, hope it doesn't unghost in someone's path. That's him down to P8. So Craigo now just got to play it safe. He's got this lap, he's got 1 more lap after this, and then should be in here shortly for the podium interview. Obviously going to have to be careful on his older soft tyres. 8 laps is a deceptively large amount, but some of those were under the safety car. They're going deep there and actually losing DRS because of it. And on the last lap we've lost the interval, that makes this job tricky. So Craigo, hard to tell if he's within a second of Bailiff, but certainly shouldn't matter as long as he's within 3 seconds. Zenon, I would say in a strong third, but he's got lots of penalties to work with. And it looks like whoever from this group only has 3 seconds. So Shaden, yeah, looking on for a 3rd place position. Cammy too far back to really do anything. We'll keep an eye on Craigo. He's coming down this back straight, and all he's got to do now, get his car to the end. And a very good race, of course. Wouldn't have had it if Bailiff didn't make that mistake that cost him that penalty. But all he has to do now, get to the line, cruise across, and that win will be his. Needs it, currently 12th in the championship. This is going to shoot him right up the order. And here we go. Oh, Shaden getting 3 more seconds of penalties as Craigo comes across the line to claim his win. Now Shaden is within 3 seconds of Zenon, and actually, how close is Maverick? I think sorry, Maverick, wrong name. No, it was Maverick. Maverick just missing out. You can see the penalties really kicking up things here. Yeah, Cammy jumps up into 5th position. Moody next to come across the line in that 10th. We've got Ash and Harv, but Harv is going to drop right the way down the order with those 15 seconds. Although I haven't said that, actually, no. Greg, sufficiently far back that it's not going to be a problem for him. And there we go, that concludes the race. Craigo getting that win in the end. So very, very well done to him. We'll see if we can get the guys in for an interview. But there we go, Craigo up on that top step. He'll be happy to get himself a win this season. Don't believe he's had a podium at all so far this season. So definitely going to be happy with that one. But here we go. Here is our order about to come up on the screen. Eventually, maybe, please. Yes, there we go. So Craigo claiming that race win. Bailiff in 2nd position. Shaden finishing up the podium. So we'll go down the order. You can see Farrell in the end getting that fastest lap. So no one will be getting the bonus points for it. Maverick, Cammy, Freefall, Mar, Zenon, Moody and Ash finishing out the top 10. And Greg, Ghost, Harvey, Farrell and Chokes finishing out the order. Some people with a lot of penalties towards the end of that. Very well done to our drivers. So I'm going to quickly we'll try and get the top 2 guys in for an interview. Give me a second. I need to actually allow them to join. So we had Bailiff. How do I spell that? Not is it Bailiff? Maybe. Shaden and of course Craigo, our race winner. I hope I've added the right channel. Yes, nice, okay. So yeah, there we go. I will quickly hop on board once I message these guys. Second time. Ah, I've spelled his name wrong, haven't I? Dude, there's an extra I in there. There we go. So Mercedes getting that win, so we'll display winning car of Craigo. I believe a maiden podium for him. Hello Bailiff, can you hear me?
I can hear you, bud.
Nice. Congratulations on the P2. Obviously going to be a bit miffed you didn't get that win after that penalty near the end, but...
Yeah, just a slight over the curve, and I was like, oh no. I didn't think I'd actually catch Craigo, but I got within the DRS, and I think that just pulled me in, to be honest.
Yeah, who was it? Atomic reckoned you'd get the win. But, yeah, of course, penalty in the end. Causing problems. Where did you start? It wasn't something I saw where you came from. No, you were on pole, weren't you? Or was that in the sprint race?
No. That was pole for the sprint race. I was P4 after spinning in the sprint race because I was actually looking in my mirror going through turn 1. But got back up to P4 in the sprint race because I was the only driver not to get any penalties.
Yeah, that seems to work quite well for some people. I think someone had 15-second penalties by the end of the full race.
But no, I made it. I thought the softs were the ones to be on towards the end of the race after that safety car, but the mediums just hooked up and I was just catching. So, pot luck really that it put me back onto a fresh set of mediums instead of brand new softs.
Oh, did you not mean to go onto mediums?
No, I thought, you know what? There's only about 10 laps left. I need to go to the softs and just follow everybody else. But I clicked over too many times on my D-pad, so it put me on another set of mediums, brand new.
Yeah, we've got Shaden here as well. Congratulations on your P3. He is currently...
I think he's Mike.
Yeah, cheers. I thought I bottled it at the end with a late penalty in the final corner, but I managed to sneak it by half a second, I think.
Yeah, I was watching the order and kind of everyone had different amounts of penalties. I'm not sure where everyone would finish, but is this your... I assume it's not your first penalty of the season, given your P5. Well, no, wait. No, you said it was. Yeah.
First podium, yeah. I've managed. I think I had 3/4, so I thought. So I was thinking it was happening again, but managed to sneak it by half a second. So I was pretty happy with that.
Yeah. Do you know if this jumps into championship lead? You get 28 points from this, and you were only sitting 20 behind Cammy. I know Cammy should just about stay ahead, but you certainly jump in.
I think it'll be close.
Between the two of you, you've jumped right up the order. I think past Farrell and Mar. Am I saying his name correctly, by the way? The Ferrari driver.
It's Matt Rowney.
Yeah, we call him Mar. Mike's like on the map there. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, anything to say about the race? Anything you weren't expecting?
Yeah. To be fair, the race start, I got sandwiched by both McLaren. Shaden, you were on my left, and Ozzy was on my right. I had nowhere to go. I was like, what do I do here?
Yeah, I mean, I was just trying to stay out of trouble. So I'm lucky I didn't take you out by the sounds of it. So
well, it spun Ozzy on my right side.
Yeah, well, got to push. Thought Ozzy was the man today, but I mean, I'm happy with that. Yeah, what I'd say is one of the weaker tracks I was dreading today.
Oh right,
doing so many laps around Silverstone, but yeah, I managed to
2 podiums.
Get in a bit of a rhythm that I haven't managed to get in before when racing around there. So I was chuffed with that.
Yeah, because you get your 28 points for your third, plus 2 extra points from the sprint. Wait, you came 4th, right? So you get 2 extra points from that. 13 total.
Third in the sprint, I think. Third in the sprint.
So
I was 4th.
That makes you 2 up, yeah. So 31 points for you, and then 35 for... Is it Bailiff?
Yeah, Bailiff.
I haven't done Tier 4 before, so it's learning all your names. But
no, don't worry about it.
I was surprised by how close the racing was. certainly among the front guys.
It was brilliant all the way through. To be fair, like the whole race was just you had to be on your toes. Otherwise, one mistake, one slight clip of the apex too tight, or running too wide on either of the sausage curbs, it was game over for you. So it was nice to still be involved all the way to the end.
Yeah, and I've got to ask, I don't think I'll be here myself Tier 4 next week, but you got Portimao next week. How are you guys with that drag?
I feel all right around Portimao, to be fair. I ran it in Hedges League a couple of weeks ago, so I've got pretty decent setup around there. I'm not going in TT this week either.
Yeah, how about you?
I'm not too bad around Portimao myself. One of them career modes, restarting in my team over and over again. It's one of the first few tracks, so I've done a fair few amount of laps around there.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes then. Well, once again, congratulations to you two, and of course to Craigo, who is not here.
Yeah.
Best of luck for you two for next week. Yes, you'll be very much happy championship-wise, but yeah, I'll let you two head off and celebrate your race.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
See you next weekend.
Cheers, guys. Take it easy.
Yeah.
Right, so there we go. That concludes the... Oh, wrong button. Oh, yeah. That concludes the Tier 4 Round 6 sprint race. Ignore the thing that says join the Tier 3 stream, as they have now finished. But yeah, there we go. At the moment, it does look like Freefall is going to be getting the driver of the day. I can't remember where he finished in the end. But for me, that is, I guess, goodbye until Thursday, where I will be commentating Tier 2 alongside Hedgehog. But I hope you all enjoyed, and goodbye.